Disappearing.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere east of the Pacific Ocean. My name is Brian Engelman, and this is the Agree to Disagree show on the New American Media. This guy over here is Blake Walley. Blake Walley can be found at thenextlevelnews.com. And let me mute that. And you can also follow him on X at TV's Blake Walley. That's BlakeWalley. I beg of Blake to tag the New American Media. I get very few tags, so I don't catch his comings and goings on X, but I'm sure he's quite prolific. What? He wants me to follow.
Hey, I've got a real banger of a tweet I want to share with everybody, but let me make sure I have Brian tagged on it so he's got his stamp on it so he'll see it. No, you got to be following me and you got to have me on a list.
Or you could make sure we could retweet it to 9,000 other people, which is the point. Right. We're trying to take the megaphone on your best tweets and send them out. But I'm sure they're all his best tweets. Follow him at TV's Blake Walley on X. I want to thank you for following us here on the New American Media because the old American media has failed you. Things are in chaos on today's episode of the show. We're going to, of course, update the Baltimore Bridge. What is up with that? So the title of today's show is called Baltimore Bridge Drama and Diddy Trauma. Okay. Oh, and it says, are we on, I guess it didn't finish the rest of the show title.
Are we on what? At a collision course with an alternate timeline from CERN. We're in the Hadron Super Collider right now, the big tunnel in slow motion.
Maybe the whole universe is in a Hadron Super Collider. Isn't this all a simulation anyway? None of this is real. There is no spoon.
It's very possible. Or we're already inside of a black hole. There's so many different theories out there. And what do we know? We're just simple three-dimensional creatures. Or we perceive things in only three dimensions.
Yeah, simple, I wish we were as smart as the Bible. Go ahead.
I said, yeah, simple creatures stumbling through our evolution.
Yeah, I wish we were as advanced and intelligent as the Biden administration, who can definitively, after a couple of minutes, determine that it was a complete accident in Baltimore and that they're going to pay for everything and just shuffle everything under the bridge. It'll be water under the bridge, as they say. Yeah, they're money laundering. Well, as Jordan Maxwell would say, why do they call banks a bank? Because they're river banks. And they're at the edge of where the water flows, where the energy flows. Man, Jordan Maxwell
flows. It's the currency that flows.
Yes, everything the currency. Like thank you. You made that so much better. Thank you for fixing that. For improving upon that nugget of truth. Yeah, go check out. If you go to the archives, I think we had conversations with Jordan Maxwell at least 2 times. One time was in a restaurant. And we were also talking with, who was that?
Really? Yeah, I had dinner with Jordan Maxwell once. I've never seen a man use so much ketchup on food before, but he was a hell of a character. He's a great man. He will be missed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was very gracious with his time, and we definitely picked his brain. One of our best conversations. Never made it onto air. We were just enjoying ourselves. You know, sometimes you get caught up in life and you don't remember to record it. You know, so we had one of those moments where I think the old school generations used to call that being alive. Now, if we don't, what's the phrase? Pics or it didn't happen. Like, show me pictures or that didn't happen. I mean, we really have entered the pics or it didn't happen generation. I was listening to Ricky Rackman. What's that guy's name? He started the Cat House or something and kind of got Guns N' Roses, and he was the guy on Headbangers Ball, and then he was on Loveline and all this stuff. Where the hell was I going with that story? What did I just say before that? About a generation. There we go. Because his cat club, like his music venue, he became the owner of a music club in Los Angeles back in the mid 80s, I guess. And he had a rule there, no cameras. So that was literally the opposite of what things are now. It's like, you must have cameras or else are you even a part of the program, bro? Although I have been to see some comedians and they like to confiscate your phone and put it into a black bag. They lock it. Have you had that experience, Blake? Where
the Bob Dylan concert I went to in November, they did the same thing. Yeah, I mean, Dave Chappelle they don't want all those clips showing up online. So I respect that. But yes, I went to the Bob Dylan concert, no pictures, no video. You put your phone in the bag but you get to hold it and they unlock it when you leave. It goes pretty quickly, but yeah, that's the way they are. They're very strict with that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was on a vacation outside of the country at the height of COVID, and someone I was with allegedly, air quote, tested positive for coronavirus, and we were automatically locked out of our room in a foreign country. My passport is inside. My cell phone charger is inside. Like, you want to talk about instant panic? Like, be in a strange place and all of a sudden you have no access to all of your important stuff. I'll tell you what, that gives you a real harsh wake-up call super fast. Kenneth B. is asking, Bob Villain? No, Bob Dylan. He's not as bad as Neil Young. Neil Young, of course, being one of the weirdest ones. But anyway, we're, of course, going to talk about the Baltimore Bridge collapse, give an update on that. We're also going to give an update on Diddy, because Baltimore Bridge drama and Diddy trauma. See what we have to say about those, because anytime something happens, folks, I think it's super important that we take a 72-hour pause, at least on having definitive notions of things. Jocelyn says, Jay Snip posits. Who's Jay Snip?
That's a good question. I don't know who Jay Snip is either. I thought knew most of the people in this alternative media
then again, if Jocelyn is Jocelyn, and she's referring to herself because it's JS capitalized, it could be Jay's Nip. So Jay's Nip could be could be positing something right now for all I know. But Jay Snip, that sounds like a character from the Jersey Shore. Jay Snip in Snooki. Anyway, Jocelyn says that this person posits that the Baltimore Bridge could be a white hat job to prevent something really bad to happen. Expand on that, please. So you're saying, in order to save democracy, we must end democracy. In order to save capitalism, we have to abandon capitalism. In order to save America, we got to close the port. Now, I mean, that's Cliff High and Jean-Claude's friend.
Wow.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, look, the 72-hour rule is very important. I'm not saying you can't you can't start leaning toward conclusions as you gather evidence on stories. But I think for 72 hours after something big, it's important to just press pause and really, you can talk all you want. You can ask a lot of questions, but just refrain from reaching hard and fast conclusions, because quite often, more information comes out that you really wish you could take back something you said very definitively based on initial reports in the beginning. Blake, what do you have here?
I guess this is Jay Snip. I did watch nearly half of this video last night and part of it this morning. This is Cliff High's latest. He was on an interview with, wasn't familiar with these guys, but yes, I guess one of them is Jay Snip 4. Kind of looks like Kyle Gass or something.
Kyle Gass.
Yeah, one half of the Tenacious D. But anyhow, it was interesting stuff. I was curious where he's going with that. Now, I was saying last episode, Cliff is a genius, but he's also paranoid schizophrenic. But he's got some really bold predictions for the month of April. And he says, this might be, part of it is this bridge, and then it's going to be the eclipse. And then that could be he's thinking something major could happen the day after. So he's calling it a Black Tuesday event. And then for the rest of the month and then into June, there could be some pretty explosive stuff coming down the pike. A lot of distractions, lots of, a lot of problems, a lot of weird stuff that we haven't seen in a long time.
Some weird and wild stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, so we'll keep our eye on
huge observation, Brian. Yes.
Yes, indeed. Also on today's show, we're going to discuss, is there a grave concern about Biden losing the election? I mean, no. Actually, you know what? I did have the thought about this topic saying, oh my God, they must think they're going to be able to steal it again, or else there's no way they would run this guy. Oh my God. I had like a sinking pit in my stomach thing happen earlier today. By the way, go to CISA.gov/rumor control. because the powers that be, the ones that police the internet, the ones that have flagged and removed 3 of my videos on YouTube now. They just took down one I shared with Blake because he mentioned the V word. Oh my goodness, how dare he, treating us like we're a bunch of 10-year-olds. You know what? Piss off, YouTube. I'm an adult. I'm allowed to talk about whatever the fuck I want. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't need you censoring my speech. I'll become a little bit more explicit if I must to prove a point. This is American. You don't do that shit here. Thank you very much. So you can subscribe to youtube.com/The New American Media, or also find us on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com. All of the New American Media content is automatically backed up there, as well as at rumble.com. Find us at the New American Media. Please subscribe. As soon as we hit a magic number, we're going to be able to live stream on Rumble, and that's going to help us get our message out to even more people. So if you don't have a Rumble account, sign up for one and find the New American Media. I mean, we literally need you to do this. We need like 40 votes or 60 thumbs up or subscriptions, whatever the hell they call it. And then we can live stream. So please connect with the New American Media as you can. But yeah, I just had that sinking pit in my stomach going, oh my God. Despite CISA.gov/rumor control saying that 2020 was the only safe and secure election in the history of every election, and despite the fact that every Democrat seems to have questioned the validity of every Republican winning in office since time immemorial, you know, they want to remove your content if you question 2020. So they will provide countervailing views to our countervailing views. Is my public disclosure at the end of the barrel. I'm forced to tell you that so that we are not removed anymore. Anyhow, Jocelyn saying, I don't know, but the whole bridge thing is very weird. Yes, we will break down.
All right, well, let's get into it. Right. Okay.
I know. We'll get into that.
Enough chit-chat. Let's
also, we're going to talk about Ronna McDaniel and her time at MSNBC or just NBC. Ronna McDaniel, we hardly knew ye. She's in Never Never Land. Also, automakers, what is going on with the car theft? Should we blame the thieves or blame the manufacturers? We're also going to talk about Mexico. Oh, I got some words on that one. And who's to blame for the failed destruction of Hamas? That's all cool and all, but let's start with something a little different. It's the cover of our show, or the cover of our thumbnail for today's show, rather. And it'll kind of link us into some of the weirdness that we find ourselves in with a little bit of time to prepare. Here we go. All right. Kenneth B is saying he did so today on Rumble. I think that means he subscribed to the New American Media. If that's the truth, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you anyway. But let's talk about this, Blake. It's the picture of our thumbnail. Do you agree or disagree that CERN is about to transport us into an alternate timeline, Blake? Agree or disagree?
It's plausible. Gosh, do I agree or disagree? I think something weird could very well happen. I don't know exactly what. I guess I didn't even think about this when I wrote the question out. But how about yes? Why not? I think it'd be a good idea to escape from this one because I think this particular timeline is in a lot of trouble. So I would embrace an alternate timeline, but I don't want it to get worse. But I mean, how much? I don't know. I guess I'm Black Pill Superman today. So
Black Pill Superman.
Yeah.
Now, look, I think something really interesting happened. I'm not going to go into the details, but I do want to just put it out there. I firmly believe that something happened in 2016. In 2016, I think we entered some sort of a parallel universe. And I think LeBron James was at the center of this.
Oh,
LeBron played his home games. LeBron played his home games at Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland, Ohio. And Quicken Loans Arena touches up against Jacobs Field. What do they call it now? Progressive Field for the Cleveland Indians / Cleveland Guardians. LeBron, all of his Illuminati stuff, throwing up triangles. I think something happened where we entered a rift in time and split off into a different parallel dimension. 2016 was when the Republican convention went to Cleveland and anchored all of their headquarters at the basketball arena, at the baseball arena, or the baseball diamond, and that whole general area. In fact, Donald Trump gave his acceptance speech in Quicken Loans Arena. Blake and I were there covering that for the New American Media. And I think something happened where LeBron came back from a 1-3 deficit, the only time it's ever happened in NBA Finals history, against the number one team in all of NBA history, the 73 win, unbeatable, first time all unanimous MVP Steph Curry. LeBron comes storming back for the Cavaliers, wrestles that title away, effectively becoming the greatest basketball player of all time. They call it the GOAT, and breaking the Cleveland curse in the process. However, I think everything got wonky after that. The Trump connection, it was supposed to be Hillary winning, but Trump won. I feel like we've inverted a lot of things from that moment. The Warriors were supposed to win. Instead, the Cavs won. Hillary was supposed to win. Instead, Trump won. The Cleveland Indians were supposed to win a couple months later, but instead the Cubs, who were even more cursed than the Cleveland teams, won. And I think we just split off onto some parallel dimension where LeBron got his chip. He got his ability to get the crown as the greatest of all time, but when you mess with magic, you end up with unintended consequences. And of course, he was a lackey, a hack, and a flack, whatever you call him, Blake, for
hacks, flacks, and lackeys.
Hacks, flacks, and lackeys for the Democrat Party and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton at that time. So it must have killed him to watch Trump wrestle away control from the deep state and Democrats. So I think we've been on a parallel timeline since 2016 when everything shifted in Cleveland. So I'm curious to see where this goes next. You said you're a little black-pilled on this. Does that mean you're a little likely to believe that we're on some sort of, I don't know, collision course with a eclipse and something weird and CERN got reactivated? Connect the dots for us here on this.
Well, just the way I see the state of the world right now, whereas we could be heading for, civil war, collapse. I think we're at, one solar flare away from being sent back to the Stone Age. And then there's going to be major catastrophes after that. Earth events, I do follow Ben Davidson's Suspicious Observers. So I am a little bit concerned about the, solar micronova and a global reset, not the World Economic Forum one, but more of the pole shift variety. Where, yes, it happens about once every 12,000 years on this planet, and things will get jostled around, will get reset, and we'll have to begin civilization over, as we have many times in the past. And you can see remnants of our old past by looking at the ancient structures all over the planet. From Stonehenge to Machu Picchu to Göbekli Tepe to... we could just go on. Of course, the pyramids. Of course, the Mexican pyramids. I forget Angkor Wat, Machu Picchu. Am I pronouncing all of this stuff right? There's remnants of.
It's Angkor Wat. It's Machu Picchu in Peru. What else were the other ones? But yeah, I mean, from time immemorial, we've been seeing this stuff.
But yeah, I think that's sort of on its way. Maybe things will split. There's also been many theories posted like that. People believe in raptures, so maybe there's a possibility that people will be rescued. There's going to be a split of the three-dimensional Earth and the maybe potentially new fifth-dimensional Earth. That'll happen kind of simultaneously. We could break off into different timelines. So I don't know. I don't think there is one fixed timeline. There's many different possibilities that could happen simultaneously without us even knowing about it. Whether that's Cleveland or Golden State winning, I'm not sure. But they say that all these possibilities happen all the time. It's part of quantum physics, but I don't know. But I think in this particular timeline, like there is. A lot of cause for concern. I don't feel like, hey, we're just going to beat the globalists and the World Economic Forum, and then we're going to launch into this great new sci-fi future, and everybody's going to be prosperous and all of that. But there is a possibility of that. But I am disturbed by, say, the last time they were messing around with CERN, and it looked like they had like a big satanic ceremony, like they were opening a portal into hell. So that we could run some of this clip. probably jump around there. Ooh, this next one's good. Somebody choreographed and coordinated this whole presentation. Why would they do this if they're going to do like a big scientific experiment? And there is some weird stuff. That's cool. Let's bounce that and look at this. What the H? It doesn't look normal to me. I'm not sure what this is. What the heck? So scientific. Oh, I got the actual like goat skulls. We'll stop there. But yes, that's the scientific ceremony. I don't know. So we're thinking maybe they opened some portal to hell and they were welcoming their demon overlords. I don't know. We could go in many different directions with this, but it didn't seem very healthy to me. Maybe I'm missing the point. Maybe it's over my head. What do I?
Okay. Well, all of this kind
Brian,
of came
what did you think of that?
What's that?
What did you think of that?
I mean,
does that seem normal to you? You're like, so?
Yeah, totally normal. So, no biggie.
Like a regular halftime show or something? All right.
Yeah, see, I was trying to find you guys the video, but it looks like YouTube deleted this one as well. I am so over YouTube. But it was a lyric video that I made to Anima by Tool. Some say a comet will fall from the sky, followed by meteor showers and tidal waves, followed by fault lines that cannot sit still, followed by millions of dumbfounded dipshits. Some say the end is near. Some say we'll see Armageddon soon. Certainly hope we will. I sure could use a vacation from this bullshit three-ring circus sideshow of freaks here in this hopeless fucking hole we call LA. The only way to fix it is to flush it all away. Any fucking time, any fucking day, learn to swim, see you down in Arizona Bay. So, I mean, it is like, if you're talking 2012 music, yeah, it's, you know, it's so annoying that they took that down. I got to re-upload it again on another site. It was pretty great. But Jocelyn is saying Edgar Casey predicted that the U.S. would break into 7 parts for economic and supply reasons. The first break would be the Mason-Dixon line, which happened with the taking out of Baltimore Bridge. This is so fantastic. So you got the chill. Okay, before, why did we start talking about CERN, Blake? Because I shared something with you, and I think that's what set it off. Do you have the thing that was shared? I know that you played the clip from the last time, but do you happen to have the other CERN video? Well, that was on Telegram, right?
You sent me a video on Telegram. I don't know if it was from Instagram or what have you. I'd have to find it. I can't remember what it was specifically, but then I started watching the Cliff High thing, and then I noticed what it's all. So they're going to start the new CERN thing. It's been like they haven't done anything with it for a while, but they're going to reopen it. But it's going to be on April 8th. So happens to be the day of this eclipse, which is, extra concerning because they've been talking about, like, the National Guard coming out. Like they're getting prepared in this eclipse in a way that's never been done before. So I don't know what they're getting geared up for. Maybe that's part of what Cliff High is also predicting, that something major is going to happen. Maybe not the exact day, but perhaps the following day, and then into the month of April, that things are really going to take a turn for the weird, as perhaps, I don't know, these dimensions or timelines are going to something. I don't know. I don't want to get, because I have no idea. We're on the verge, though, of finding out one way or another on what's actually going to happen in this dimension or somewhere else.
Yeah, let's blow everything up just in case it works.
Right.
I can't wait to pass it to find out what's in it, Nancy Pelosi says, of Obamacare. So I had to look this up.
You were mentioning Tool Enema. This is also coming up, a little sneak preview of perhaps the Prophets, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the actual lyrics of Californication. Well, that are going to be very revealing as well, but we'll come to that soon.
I had to look it up, Blake, because I didn't know. Do you know what CERN stands for?
I don't remember.
I got Conseil Européen pour la Recherche Nucléaire, or European Council for Nuclear Research. So I didn't know that. Founded in 1952 with a goal to establish a world-class fundamental physics research organization in Europe. Okay, so how are we going to be able to play this Red Hot Chili Peppers clip without getting dinged? Seems like everything's getting deleted these days. It is election season, and monsters are trying to manipulate what you're allowed to listen to. So I guess short bursts, Blake. Maybe give us one bar of the song and then pause it, and we can discuss it, and we'll keep breaking it up into 5-second pieces, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know where your Instagram thing is, because I'm pulling it up and I'm seeing some Minnesota Wild. I don't think that's got anything to do with it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Instagram, and it's hard to pull up those videos. But I'm going to pull up this post last night that I saw. This is actually shared by John B. Wells, the great broadcaster here. Brian, a friend of yours?
Yeah, I need to reach out. I haven't talked to him in a very long time, and I'd love to have him back as like maybe one of our first official guests. We used to get big name guests all the time, and John is all over those 13 years of our shows. Long form interviews. Go to youtube.com/The New American Media. Also odyssey.com. Look for The New American Media and find the John B. Wells files. We've had lots of conversations. So what did John B. say?
Well, he just he didn't say anything. He just retweeted this post that I thought was interesting, but I have no idea how seriously to take it. And it's from this Ariel. He says the CERN activation is on April 8th. And apparently he thinks that CERN, it's a gigantic Ouija board. He says the Hadron Super Collider. Right. He says it demonstrates the macrocosmic and multi-contextual, as above, so below, awareness through its geometry. The complex is laid out underground as viewed from above. The basic configuration complex consists of a large loop, the smaller loop, and I don't know, they place proton beam injectors, I don't know, goes into stargates, designed to open up gateways, just like Ouija boards are. But the mainstream scientists will tell you the creation of this super collider is defined the Higgs boson particle, considered to be the God particle, but that's just the cover story. Now, take this all with a grain of salt. I don't know. I'm just reporting. I think it's interesting. But he says you have to understand there's a very evil faction of entities behind this project. It also connects to the key ley lines on the Earth. And that's also where all the major structures, many that I've already mentioned here, ley lines of the luminous that many are pulling at today. They're light and energies of the Earth. They're on specific tectonic plates with magnetic field energies. Let's see. Skipping through, there's a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, pyramids of Giza, Notre Dame, Solomon's Temple, Parthenon, Oracle Delphi, Renaissance Chateau, Ziggurat, the Vatican, DC Capitol, Mecca, Hagia Sophia. I don't know what that is. So Sophia, Aztec pyramids, Bermuda Triangle, Coral Castle, Tesla's lab, nuclear power plants, military bases, sports teams. A lot of these things are built like energy grid lines of the earth.
And by the way, like the Hagia Sophia is a grand mosque. Where is this at? Where'd it go?
Turkey or something? I don't
know. I had it right in front of me.
Istanbul. I don't know.
Turkey, yeah.
Okay. I was right. All right. Cleopatra's new. Yeah. So these electromagnetic lines of the earth are its veins and receive energy from the sun. It connects in a free living thing on the planet. Ancient spiritual figures, which elevated their electrical auras, intellect, and connection to higher self. Says he believes that the activation of the large hadron during the eclipse may create a window for these CERN researchers to explore and study these stargates or portals. It is believed that the activation of the large collider during this special event might create enough energy to open up the portals to alternate dimensions and realities. That's pretty alarming stuff. And now it's kind of a debate on who's running it, or if it's a white hat or a black hat operation. Don't know. Not going rabbit hole yet. But it thinks they are trying to deport us to another timeline. And this is not magic because we do this every day. You're simply winning a Powerball jackpot is changing the course of your timeline from living a life of financial struggle to one of abundance without all the strenuous work to gain wealth. So he wants us to look at April 8th as a collective changing timeliness with the assistance of the super collider. You need to understand the control of CERN came under U.S. military in 2017. So your fight for your
United States military control in 2017?
Yeah, so I don't know about all this because I don't know how to take all this, QAnon stuff and where we go one, we go all, and good guys are in control. We have everything. Everything's great.
I mean, I've heard all that stuff for 4 years, but you got cops getting shot. You got women getting plunked in the head. You got all sorts of – we're under an invasion. We're in World War III with Russia, despite not officially declaring it by proxy of the deep state. Like, I don't know how our infrastructure is getting attacked, or all of these accidents just keep happening. The bridges are coming down. The food processing plants are getting set on fire. The waterways are being polluted in East Palestine. No, I mean, this is all good stuff. Like, we're on a good path right now. Trust me. There's a plan. Gas is as expensive as it's been in a long time, and good luck going to the grocery store, and the dollar keeps getting devalued. The BRICS nations are ready to pull the rug out from our currency, causing hyperinflation as we run up $1 trillion of new debt every 3 months. Oh, no, Blake, everything's totally fine. There's a plan. Trust the plan. Patriots are in control, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's nothing I like less than hearing that crap. There's a couple of shows. There's a couple of people that are loosely or directly affiliated with some of that stuff, and they put out good content. I like Clandestine and Brian Cates on Twitter. I 22 Report. I cringe. I have developed calluses on the back part of my eye sockets from where my iris rolls back and smacks into the back of my skull every time I start hearing about the plan and Patriots are in control and trust the plan. Like, I just want to draw a nice warm bath with something sharp. I can't listen to that shit. Like, it bugs me so much. There's no way good guys are in control right now. There's also no reason why good guys shouldn't be in control. It's so obvious who the bad guys are. They should be dead to rights. That's figuratively speaking, until the trial and the charges, of course. But, Blake, all this stuff sounds very concerning to me. So I just want to ask you this one question. It's a quick one. This is based on everything you just told me. I just want to make sure I heard it right and see what you recommend.
Professor, without knowing precisely what the danger is, would you say it's time for our viewers to crack each other's heads open and feast on the goo inside? Yes, I would, Ken.
There you go. Should you crack open each other's heads and feast on the goo inside? Yes, I would, Kent. So I don't know where we go from here. Back to you and CERN. That's, of course, you can't look at that any other way without seeing the obvious 6. So it's like 3, 6. It's 6 sixes.
Yep.
No,
it
5
sure
sixes.
is.
5 sixes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sixes.
Yeah, I don't know, but we did see that ceremony, so it makes you wonder who's actually running it. But don't you fret, my brother. Apparently, the guys are in control of CERN, and they're going to open it on the eclipse, and we're going to have a new world of unlimited prosperity, and we're all going to live in a paradise, a fifth-dimensional paradise.
Kenneth B calls it Kenneth. Oh, so if there's 5 sixes, maybe that's where the 5th dimension is coming in.
Well, if we go to the 5th dimension,
Kenneth says he enjoys his hopium and a hot bath. Hopium and a hot bath will cure all. A little bit of hopium and a hot bath, just nothing sharp. I was alluding to something without saying it directly. Yeah.
Well, you got to keep those positive vibrations up, Brian, and maybe you'll be part of the new Earth. Otherwise, yeah, you'll be left here with the eventual civil war, the zombie apocalypse, and until the solar flare comes and a knock and sets us back to the Stone Age, and then we get hit with the we await our fate with the solar micronova. Go live underground for a few decades, and then slowly start to rebuild civilization again. And then maybe in a few thousand years, we'll get the reemergence of a new sort of Roman Empire, and go from there. Maybe another 5,000-6,000 years. Apparently, we can rebuild things and then get reset again. It's a vicious cycle here, and we pass into the galaxy.
It is, and it's not just what is it, Darren Kuyu? Is that in Turkey over there somewhere? I think it's Darren Kuyu's underground, and then there's the Hopi Indian. It's not just the
serpent
Hopi,
mounds. Yeah, those are pretty badass.
The Anunnaki. Have you ever been to the Great Indian Serpent Mound in southeast Ohio?
No, I'd like to check it out after watching the Graham Hancock series on Netflix. They did go into that. I don't think they would even let them film. Like, there's a lot of stuff. All these major archaeological sites, like, they don't want any. They have zero curiosity about any of it, and they just prefer that nobody really goes there and asks any questions, even though.
Okay, well, that's a perfect segue here for the Baltimore Bridge collapse.
Wait. We got to get to the before that. We need to check out this Red Hot Chili Peppers video.
Okay, we'll do Red Hot Chili Peppers, but I got to admit that was a perfect segue right there. I did identify the perfect time to switch the tracks on the train and ease it into its next destination.
I am going to.
But yeah, we'll have to be careful. Only a couple seconds per Chili Pepper lyric, and then stop it, and we have to discuss it. Try to avoid getting dinged on.
I think they amplify the lyrics a little bit. I don't know. I think we could play 30 seconds of music, right? I don't know, but we'll stop it. We'll read the lyrics.
Let's do 5. So each line, we'll break down each line.
Here we go.
Do you have it on the screen? I don't see it.
Okay, here we go. 25 years have passed since the Chili Peppers released the song Californication. Turns out the lyrics might be more relevant today than ever. Let's dive into the hidden meanings.
All right. Pause before we get started. Before we get started, just for point of reference. Wow. 25 years ago, Blake, I was in Rome, New York at a decommissioned Air Force base for Woodstock 99. And Red Hot Chili Peppers were the last band to perform as everything was set on fire. And they covered Jimi Hendrix, Let Me Stand Next to Your Fire, as their last song at the end of a very long week of rock. 25 years ago, this song came out, and I saw them at Woodstock. Where do the years go, man? Wow. That is nuts, man.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't seem that long ago. I know, it's crazy.
It does not. But yeah, I was road tripping with a few of my favorite allies. Fully loaded. We had stocks and supplies.
Oh, good old days, great album, man. California. I know. Maybe the CERN that CERN thing will just reset everything, and then we'll get sent back to the 90s. Things made a little more sense.
When life was grand.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. After each line, try to pause it so we can just discuss each line, and so we don't get dinged.
Okay, well, let's take a look.
It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers song, Californication. 25 years have passed since they released the song and billions of people have listened, including you. But did you listen to the lyrics carefully?
Brian, did you listen to the lyrics carefully? I had no idea what it said. It's not my. I like the Chili Peppers. It wasn't my favorites. Now that I know the lyrics,
I liked the video too. The video, it's like they were inside of a simulated video game, running through the video. Like that was kind of like that was a really neat video for 1999.
Well,
it's hard to imagine a music video from 99 being cool, but at the time, these characters turning into video game characters was pretty damn neat. You know, this was during the Nintendo 64 days of playing Bond on Nintendo 64 with 4 of your favorite allies in the college dorm room, or playing Mario Kart at 3 a.m. So yes, I do know the lyrics and I do know the songs. There was one lyric that kind of jumped out at me. I had always sang along, but it never really grabbed me, or maybe I had a lyric wrong. But yeah, let's go ahead and hear it.
Yes, so perhaps the Peppers are prophets from the future. So we'll let's roll. Here we go.
Pepper prophet.
Psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation.
So psychic spies from China try to steal your mind's elation. As we have the Chinese balloons. And perhaps malware with TikTok.
Well, and it's not just the malware with TikTok. It's about 2 things. Them having a heat button that lets them make a story go mega viral. So say you want to push, I don't know, there's some criminal activity from some criminal in a place, and then the police react in a certain way, and then they magnify that through TikTok. Was TikTok a big deal during George Floyd? I haven't used TikTok ever, so I don't know. But they really sow the seeds of discord and all of the trans mania that's been happening. A lot of the smartest people out there studying the subject say that, you know, the people watching TikTok are at I don't know the percentage, 15% higher likelihood of, 40% higher likelihood of, 100% more likely to claim a non-binary, some gender dystopia or gender dysphoria if they're on TikTok. So it's like TikTok has been accused of trying to get inside of your head and make you question who you are, even to the point where you want to take puberty blockers and cut out the plumbing of your house. So, I mean, if any of that is true, you got psychic spies in China stealing elation for sure. People that go through this stuff, I feel so bad for anyone that has to suffer.
Okay. Well, there we go. Well, that's okay. That's one section of it. We'll continue. So much like the Simpsons, it's things like the Chili Peppers are future, and we got little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen quotation as we.
That is a tough line to say.
Right.
How would I sing it? I'd say, little girls from Sweden dream of silver screen. I always heard it as silver screen flirtations. And either way, I think that's a fun line. Either way, I heard flirtation. I think I didn't know it was quotation, but I heard flirtation. And of course, that's Greta Thunberg. She's from Sweden. Yeah,
I think so. But she's up in that region up there, the Scandinavia land. So it probably is Sweden.
How dare you? How dare you?
Right.
How dare you?
So, but how interesting is that quote now that we look at it from here? It's the edge of the world and all of Western civilization. Certainly it is. Sun may rise in the east. At least it's settled in a final location. I don't know exactly what that means, anything particularly. Pay your surgeon very well to break the spell of aging with all of the Hollywood stuff. Sounds like the pre-Botox era, but yes. This may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. So, perhaps the moon landing being fake. I don't know. It's made in a Hollywood basement. In Cobain, can you hear this fear singing songs off station? Kurt Cobain reference. Born and raised, this is with Bill Gates here. Born and raised by those who praise control of population.
And that one right there, Blake. Pause it there. Born and raised by those who praise control of population. What a well-written line.
Yeah, I had no idea.
What a very interesting way to say that. Born and raised by those who praise control of population.
I rarely like the lyrics of songs. I usually don't understand them or pay that much attention to them, except for the ones that are more, the obvious lines. It just kind of all blurs together. I just mostly like the music, but yeah, they're quite profound. Once you look at the surface, I had no idea that was happening. Anyway, okay, well, there you go. There's your little red hot chili pepper description. So, Brian, are they prophets from the future, or is this all coincidence?
I mean, some of those lines are pretty great. It's a fantastic song. Yeah, I mean, Tool and Chili Peppers being out in Los Angeles, seeing all of the stuff happening right there. About waging war with your chin and fret for your Prozac and your pilot and your contract and your car, and it's all people worried about the irrelevant, the superficial. I big Chili Pepper fan. Now I'm gonna have to go down a Chili Pepper rabbit hole and get into some of their stuff as well. But yeah, man, we're talking about Trust the Flan. Thanks, Ken. Okay, so are they prophets? Sure. Why not? It's a great song. The whole album is a killer album. I could probably only list maybe 50 to 100 albums that I would say are great from front to back. I mean, you press play and it's a journey worth taking. A lot of albums have dud songs and maybe a couple of but like Weezer's Blue Album, maybe Chili Peppers' Californication. A lot of these are just instant classics. All right, well, how about staying with music then and talking about Diddy? Blake, would you agree or disagree that Diddy is innocent and he's just a victim of a federal witch hunt? By the way, where in the world is Puff Daddy Sean Combs?
Right. Well, according to him, he's innocent and a victim of a federal witch hunt, but I don't think I can. I don't know if I agree with that. I think he's clearly been a bad boy. He's on the run now.
He literally named it Bad Boy Entertainment.
Yeah.
It's like it's right in front of your noses, people.
Yeah, and it's
Bad Boy.
Right. So let me see if I can.
It looks like who is it? 50 Cent. He looks really happy this is coming out. Cat Williams was exposing this. I think Jay-Z is probably up to be next, and then Oprah. I mean, you look at the picture of Oprah with Jay-Z, with Diddy, with Harvey Weinstein, with that, who was that John of God that I can't even talk about what the stuff he was doing. I mean, it looks like Oprah is the biggest pimp on earth. And I don't mean this in like a cool way, because I know pimp has been turned into, hey man, if I drop the N-word 75,000 times in every rap song, it'll slowly turn into like, and it won't have any bad connotations. No, there are bad connotations, so I don't mean it in a nice colloquial way. Anyway, I digress. Just trying to think this through, but I've never seen more instances of false accusations than I have in the past 5 to 10 years either. Whether it's Jussie Smollett, Bubba Wallace, the Covington Kid, the drinking bleach hoax, the fine people hoax. It's just the list of hoax stories has gone so parabolic. Another Tool song, Parable and Parabola. Listen to them back to back as one song. Great drop, one of the best 25 drops in rock music as those songs merge into one. But it's a witch hunt. I am always willing to give people the benefit of the doubt, Blake, but man, it sure seems like the dam is exploding on Diddy right now.
Oh yes. So he's 2 of his mansions raided. They handcuffed his sons with the sex trafficking, and it gets worse. He was also like drugging and sexually assaulting women and perhaps minors. It's pretty damning stuff.
And men, a lot of men to get them blackmailed into really bad record contracts.
Yeah, and perhaps even poor Justin Bieber with his 15-year-old.
And Usher.
Yeah, it's pretty gruesome stuff.
That creeps me out seeing that photograph. I just don't like anything about it.
Poor Bieber, yes, like there with a predator. Yes, being taken advantage of, I'm sure. So that's really disturbing stuff. I don't know if you saw the video with him and with Bieber. His 48 hours that he spent. I'm sure he got a contract, but I don't know if it was worth it. But I don't know. This is a price you pay for fame sometimes in Hollywood.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock.
Oh, we didn't even see like the Nickelodeon video that
jeez.
Puff Daddy was also a part of.
Nickelodeon in the news.
Yeah. It's weird stuff. Ooh,
It's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, so-
something was very weird about this picture. And then Bieber's father-in-law. What's that?
Pause on the father-in-law for 1 second. I was going to say that I saw Bieber joint. We're talking about LeBron James and sending us in 2016 into a parallel dimension in Cleveland at Quicken Loans Arena, the home of the RNC and the Cavs. But I saw that Kyrie Irving a couple of years ago, when he wanted out of Cleveland to get away from LeBron, Kyrie, who very famously defended our medical freedoms when he was playing for the Brooklyn Nets, and they wouldn't let him play. But he could sit courtside, but he couldn't play. Make it make sense. You know, wear a mask when you walk in the door, but not while you're eating. Make it make sense. But Kyrie Irving, my understanding is Kyrie and Justin Bieber also were going to the same, maybe it's a mega church or a youth church. They shared the same pastor. So I think Bieber's had a very strong, come to Jesus experience over the past couple of years. And has Bieber given an official statement on Diddy yet? Has anyone asked him?
I doubt it. He's probably got enough blackmail. Who knows what's happening? I mean, he was a minor at the time, but I'm sure you don't want to tell people the details of what you were really doing over at Diddy's house. But I mean, he was taken advantage of because he was a minor.
If you were taken advantage of, if you were groomed, if you were abused, I mean, you can't fault a kid at this point. What the other part I'm hearing as well, Blake, you've been a bartender. How would you used to serve your roofies?
Yeah, I don't. That's a loaded question there, Brian. No.
When did you stop beating your wife? No, but my understanding, I've been listening to some of these stories about the Diddy parties and the white parties. By the way, the picture you used on the thumbnail 2 days ago, are you 100% certain that was Diddy? Because it looks like 93% match. I'm not entirely certain that's actually Sean Combs. I
don't know. Who knows? All I know is that it was Puff Daddy, and he was filming for part of his reality show, and he was over there at this little mall, and I was buying my iPhone 11 at the AT&T store there, and then that was kind of a big thing, like, oh, it's Puff Daddy, he's out there. So I went and took a picture of him, but yeah, it could be fake. I have no idea.
Well, what they're saying is, I was listening to an explanation of Diddy and his white parties, and they were saying that the way that they put the roofies in was in the mixed part of the mixed drinks. Like, it wasn't in the liquor bottle or something. It was in the juice. It was in the orange juice, the cranberry juice.
Well, a lot of they say that with the punch, like, don't drink the punch because it's probably, got something spiked in it. So the girls drink the punch and then the guys drink the beer. But yeah, you always got to be mindful of stuff like that. But I never saw anything like that in my experience. But I didn't hang out with these weird, crazy Hollywood parties, so I avoided some of that crowd.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of parties, both in college and in Los Angeles, and I've seen all sorts of stuff. But I've never been consciously aware of something going on like this. But yeah, it's just it's vile. All right, speaking of vile, what is Stephen Baldwin calling out about Diddy? What's he got to say? Because he's the what is he? He's the stepdad of Bieber?
Father-in-law. He's the father-in-law of Bieber. And he posted a video on Instagram calling out the demonic tough guys in Hollywood after the news broke about Diddy's. So I haven't even seen this yet, so we'll see.
This is a comment about some of the comments, which I rarely comment, but since some folks have chosen to be obviously demonic, therefore it's not their fault. So I'm here just to share a beautiful message of hope, unconditional love,
opium,
and peace. To all of the haters out there, God bless you. Pray for your enemies. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Oh, Brian, don't you miss those LA sounds and all of the planes and helicopters that runs overhead?
I mean, Blake, our place was directly underneath.
Yep.
Our place was directly underneath the LAX fly zone. Yeah, I mean, directly overhead. I think I grew an incredible garden in that space, given what I had to work with. However, yeah, get me out of the blue city as quick as possible, for 1,000 reasons. But yeah, that ambiance, those noises. I know on the sleep machines they have like running water, they have rainstorms, they have being by a beach. And then they also have like city sounds. If you grew up in the city, like that's what you're used to. Taxis and honking and airplanes.
Oh, hell no.
No, I'm good.
Remember when I see on the
Well, here we'll run the rest of this quick clip here.
street, if you slap me in the face, I will turn the other cheek. But if I feel that second cheek stinging, you better run.
Ooh. You can run on for a long time. Sooner or later,
you know that song by AWOL Nation? It goes burn, burn, so it goes run. Like the whole song builds up and it just stops and goes run. Burn.
I've probably heard it. I'd have to look it up.
It's the song that they use when they show Andrew Breitbart talking about where he says run. Andrew Breitbart looks in the camera and goes, war. I'm sure you've seen that clip, Blake.
It sounds familiar, but I don't know exactly what. Yeah, here it is. Run, but
yeah. Well, Stephen Baldwin is saying you better run.
I still want to get flagged by YouTube.
I know we're getting flagged for everything, which is why it's super important. If you like the New American Media, find us in the places: newamericanmedia.com, patreon.com/the New American Media. And Truth Social just made Donald Trump $9 billion or something. So link up with us there and on Rumble, please. Diddy's a pity. Yes, it sure is. But yeah, it's so interesting. Stephen Baldwin to the other Baldwin. They're kind of different. Those brothers are not quite the same.
No, they're not. Adam and Alec. Stephen and Alec are, yes, it's their narcissistic older brother who's now.
Well, I wonder what they have on Alec Baldwin. Because he's a happy warrior of the blackmailing deep state. You know, I'd be very curious to see what comes out with him. He's such a happy warrior for all the bad causes. Jocelyn asking if Homeland Security will raid Jay-Z and Beyonce next. Yes, Lord willing. And of course, Oprah after that. Let's hope. Diddy had secret cameras in every room of his home and kept compromising videos of top celebrities, politicians, etc. Prince Harry is also being named in them. Yes, the Prince Harry connection. Where did Barack Hussein Obama go a week or two ago?
I don't know about that. He was just in that circle. I don't know if he's involved. He's not mentioned in the court documents as like doing anything bad. He was just used for his credibility.
No, wait. He's mentioned as an
Prince
associate.
Andrew is kind of the predator.
No, we're not talking Andrew. We're talking
No,
Harry.
I know, but Harry was just, mentioned, but he's not like being, accused of anything.
He has been accused of some stuff. And this is on the heels of Kate Middleton's announcement and Barack Hussein Obama, for some reason, walking into, where did he go? Was it Buckingham Palace? Where was he 2 weeks
Downing
ago?
Street or something? Yeah, he was in like a major area in London. So he's making, some high-level connections. There's something going down.
Something big is going on, and it seems like the dam is starting to burst. Water is we're taking on water at this point. So we'll see how it shakes out. But once again, we're just trying to follow the information on the bridge collapse. Was it an act of terrorism? What's going on with Diddy? What are the updates on all of these? And is it all going to be exacerbated by CERN? I don't know. Okay. You have anything else on this one, sir?
No. So I'm curious to hear what was the big segue that we had to go to the Baltimore barge story.
Nah, I think it was more just me trying to get to the Diddy story off of Red Hot Chili Peppers. But I digress. Let's just jump to the Baltimore Bridge story because I'm watching them say, oh, yeah, the government's just going to pay for it. It's like, hold on. They're insured. Why wouldn't the captain of the boat? Why wouldn't the boat insurance company pay for it? So agree or disagree, Blake? The Baltimore Bridge collapse was an act of terrorism. You were leaning against this on Tuesday. Have you changed your mind, or are you still firmly where you were on Tuesday?
Well, I'm not firmly involved with anything. I'm firmly open-minded about all of the possibilities. So we'll say that. But I do think that there's many things to be concerned about, and this could have been a strategic play. This could absolutely be an act of terrorism. And yeah, you know what? I'll probably go with that there's more to this story than we're being told, and it was more than just a terrible accident. This is a major setback for Baltimore. Could have some devastating impacts on the economy as well. And there's there's going to be more information coming out. Oh, Brian, I forgot to roll the video with the ducks missing.
Yes.
Like they're showing some weird footage. It's kind of reminiscent of, you just mentioned Kate Middleton and all the fakery, the AI bad videos and photos.
Her ring goes missing while she's sitting there on the bench with different sized slats. Yeah. Wearing the same dress from however many years ago. Royals don't wear the same clothes ever again. It's like they have to donate it once they wear it once for TMZ purposes. Yeah, her ring appears to disappear slightly. Yeah, the one with the birds disappearing, I was like, well, is this just like 2 seconds of B-roll tape where like there were no birds and then the birds came in and like all they had were 2 seconds of footage and they had to keep re-rolling it? Or was it like the black cat or the red dress on the Matrix? Is it a glitch in the Matrix, if you will? I don't know.
That could be. Maybe I should.
But it is weird. Kate Middleton looked kind of exactly the same. And I don't know. Can we get her out in person? Like there's whether it's Eminem or Britney Spears or Joe Biden or Kate Middleton, Trump, Clinton, how many people now are on the list of, is that really the person that it used to be? Or is something different inhabiting that energy, that persona, that the shell of that? Has that person been cloned like Damar Hamlin has been accused of? It is just weird. It's getting harder and harder. It's getting harder and harder to breathe. It's getting harder and harder to tell what we're watching. Is it created through artificial intelligence, or is it something realistic? And have they been holding on to the Epstein tapes long enough to the point where even once they're released, all the guilty parties could say, that's not me. I mean, yeah, it looks like me, but that's not me. I don't know.
Well,
but these are the birds.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, these 2 ducks disappeared, and they tried to put like a community notes on it to make it sound like it's just like a normal sort of, I don't know if it's a green screen or something to do with the video and the files, but it looks so bizarre. It's hard for me to believe that. So here we go. Let's take a look at this one from Cliff High. See these ducks? Oh, where did the ducks go? Let's roll that again. There you see the ducks flying in from the right, and then as soon as they get to the bridge, they disappear. They're trying to say this does not look normal to me. Does that look normal to you, Brian?
Like I said, if they only had 2 seconds of B-roll, I thought I saw one where like you saw the birds a second time, or I thought I did, because if you saw it a second time, they're just looping a tiny little clip of video. But yeah, what happened to Kate Middleton's ring? Look at that slow-mo of the ring disappearing. I mean, am I crazy? Because it sure looks like weird things are happening. Birds disappearing in the sky, rings are disappearing. I mean, may we live in interesting times, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, watching this happen, Blake, I'm just so confused as to how we could possibly have concluded an investigation in just a matter of hours and say, oh, it was just an accident. I'm sorry, where's the insurance company investigation? Because they are the ones on the hook to rebuild this, not the federal government. No. That's why they carry insurance. Let's do a full investigation. I don't want to sweep this under the rug and just assume what it is. Why couldn't this be retaliation for what ISIS allegedly just did in Russia as part of the U.S. proxy war, undeclared World War III against them? If you were getting attacked from another country across the pond, wouldn't you take measures to destroy their infrastructure? Wasn't the pilot of this boat or the captain of the boat, wasn't he a Ukrainian?
Yeah.
I'm trying to unpack all of this stuff. Some of the videos appear to show what some have called thermite charges at the tops of the bridges. I said this when it happened. I said, who the hell designed a bridge to come down like popsicle sticks? There should be something that with certain tension, it would break apart at that point and it would keep the rest of the bridge intact. So some of these videos appear to show little pops or puffs that some have said look like explosions. I don't know if that's accurate. You watch the boat in 8 times speed. I mean, it sure looks like it aims and veers directly over to hit this in a direct impact. Not just accidental. It looks very intentional, aiming for the target you get the bullseye on. I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to know at this point, but I'm not convinced this is an accident. And I sure as hell, Blake, do not want the federal government paying for this. The boat insurance needs to pay for this. Am I on the wrong page?
What are they going to pay for it? It's going to be like a 5-year cleanup at least. I mean, this is pretty catastrophic for the economy. I don't know.
I mean, you mobilize everybody and get it going.
The boat company, I don't think there's that much this one company could do. They would probably just file bankruptcy or something. There's no way they could pay for that themselves. But yeah, they're just going to have to divert the traffic to other places. Unfortunately, there's a lot of hazardous material, a lot of agricultural and construction equipment, and it's a very major hubbub there. For the harbor and for the bridge and all the trucks that go through there and bring all these goods across the world, across the United States. So this could be really feeling this impact for a long time. In fact, I can just quick show you this article here from Michael Snyder out of the Activist Post with the Baltimore Bridge collapse going to have an enormous impact on U.S. supply chains. They have over 750,000 vehicles that came through that port last year alone. This could be a bottleneck, the biggest handler of U.S. imports and exports of cars, light trucks out of commission indefinitely. Yeah, they're saying it's going to be years before they can clean that whole area up. And they have retailers like Home, IKEA, Amazon that use that port to import goods, import all trade along the East Coast. Until we know how quickly the port can reopen. Let's see, 50 tons of foreign cargo, where some 80 billion transported to the port last year. I'm saying 2 years to rebuild the port, 5, maybe could be even longer than that. It's astounding.
I heard one guy say 14 days. Yeah, they're not going to dredge the water in 14 days. I'm looking on a map here, Blake, and Baltimore is on the Atlantic Ocean, tucked all the way. You got to go underneath a cape. What is that? Cape Charles, near Hampton, Virginia Beach, and you go all the way up into Maryland, past D.C. into Baltimore. It's actually pretty damned inconvenient, if you ask me. Whereas you have Hampton and Norfolk right there, and Chesapeake in Virginia. Just a little bit south. I mean, I would imagine a lot of that would be rerouted to Norfolk That's a big staging ground for the U.S. military. I would imagine they would be able to absorb some of that, and some more of that traffic could probably end up in Newark. But yeah, the hazardous materials route, I guess for some reason that was preferred. This doesn't mean like the whole East Coast is shut down for business. It's just, anytime something happens on the roadway, they put up detour signs. If a local bridge is out, it's not like you can't drive. It might just add 10 minutes to your commute. But
you think that's it? You think that's all that's going to be affected? Just like a 10-minute detour for all the people that use that bridge?
No, I was
and all the trucks that going.
I was talking about a small town, but okay. I was just saying that if you shuttle I don't know how many miles difference from Baltimore to Norfolk, it's probably an hour or something. Actually, I could look it up, but yeah, a little north to Newark and a little south to Norfolk. I don't know. I'd love to hear somebody explain why we can't just rapidly adapt. Like
it could happen maybe the next couple of years.
Figure it out.
Right. Well, one of the alarming things about it was they're saying that there's a lot of, this is right before like planting season, so they need all this, farming equipment to come through there. So that could cause a lot of delays at a very bad time when we got to get ready to start growing crops. So that kind of ties into this. Maybe this was an act of terrorism, because last year we saw all those food plants get set up into infernos, and the price of eggs and beef and everything exploding. So, but let's take a look. I got a couple quick videos to play. Brian, this is one that you sent me about the black box. You have an alarming thing, which kind of ties into the conspiracy theories. Let's see if this will play here.
As recorded by the VDR and converted to local Eastern Daylight Time, all information is preliminary and subject to final validation. The VDR data is comprised of audio from the ship's bridge, as well as recordings from the ship's VHF or very high frequency radios. The quality of that audio varies widely because of the high levels of background noise and alarms. Additional information from the Dali's Voyage Data Recorder, or what we call a VDR, was successfully recovered on the morning of the accident by the U.S. Coast Guard. It was provided to the NTSB upon our arrival. Approximately 6 hours of VDR data was provided to the NTSB. The recording included the time period from midnight to 6 a.m. By regulation, the VDR is required to record 30 days of history, and the NTSB is continuing to obtain more data. The times expressed below, as recorded by the VDR and converted to local Eastern Daylight Time, all information is preliminary and subject to final validation. The VDR data is comprised of audio from the ship's bridge, as well as recordings from the ship's VHF or very high.
All right, Brian, you sent me this clip, but I cannot full screen because it's an Instagram. I hate these Instagram videos, Brian. I know you spend a lot of time there and share these, but these are not friendly for this particular show. I don't know if I can zoom in on that, and I don't know what part that this lady's saying that there's 2 minutes of the recording that is not available apparently on this black box recorder. So
they ceased recording 2 minutes prior to hitting the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, when you see the video, you see everything go black. You see it looks like there's a power outage, and then you see the smoke billowing up. It appears as though it backs into to make a direct hit on the main support beam of the post. But, people are talking now just saying, look, there's backup power generators on every one of these boats. They're terrified of a main power surge issue failure causing a disruption that could lead to something directly like this, which is why they each have multiple power sources. Then you have a manual override of the power source where you could steer on your own. The only way this hits that bridge post, whatever that's technically called, a stanchion or I don't know, whatever the bridge support post is called, it's almost like the only way you could get past those 3 levels of backup plans, 2 levels of backup plans, 3 plans together for navigation. The only way you do that is intentionally. If the power goes off, your generator kicks on and then you recover. If your generator's taken out, then you hit override and you steer on your own. So that's what a lot of smart people who have experience in the naval area are saying. So I'm so intrigued as to how the Biden administration can so definitively, along with the FBI and the Homeland Security and whoever else signed on for it, they concluded they're pretty damn certain this is just an accident. I haven't seen enough to prove it's an accident. If someone wants to say it's an accident, I need someone to prove to me this is accidental. I'm not saying this is definitively terrorism, but I need proof. I need definitive proof either way, Blake, and I'm not convinced I've seen enough of it on either side just yet.
Okay, yeah, it's a fair analysis, so we can't dismiss any conspiracy theories or any rumors or rule it off as an accident too quickly. I'm on board with that. So let's take a quick look at this video, and then we got to do a lightning round and wrap up this show. So let's check out the post from Red Pill about Red Pill USA on Twitter. What aren't they telling us about the collapse of the Baltimore Bridge and the far-reaching consequences of the economy chain and all the trucks and the billions of dollars, blah, blah, blah. Let's roll this clip.
In advance, but you can't tell me that this looks like an accident. I mean, take a look at the angle in which it takes in order to hit that bridge. Now, I decided to ask artificial intelligence program called Copilot from Microsoft Bing's search engine what the effects of this bridge collapse will have on the economy and the surrounding areas, and the answers should be very alarming, but also not surprising. Check this out. An average of 4,900 trucks per day carry $28 billion worth of goods. Those are now going to need to be rerouted due to the bridge collapse. And the greatest impact is expected on hazardous materials such as diesel fuel. And we're already having problems with gas prices. This is only going to make things worse and set things back as it pertains to gas prices, but there's more, of course. The bridge plays a crucial role in the nation's infrastructure and the supply chain. The disruption is going to have long-lasting effects. Baltimore serves as the largest entry point in the U.S. for large agriculture and construction equipment, including tractors, farming combines, bulldozers, and heavy-duty trucks bound for the Midwest, the farmland of America. Let's visit that now, because this collapse comes just during the peak of planting season in the Midwest, and once again, it's going to affect the farming and the food. Additionally, construction activities also pick up in colder climates as the ground thaws. The economic impact extends beyond immediate costs, potentially affecting businesses, jobs, and regional stability. But there's more. The bridge's collapse affects the entire supply chain, including the movement of agricultural equipment, fertilizers, and other essential materials. Farmers may face challenges in receiving necessary supplies, leading to potential delays in planting, maintenance, and harvesting. The economic repercussions extend beyond immediate costs, potentially affecting crop yields, prices, and again, regional stability. I want to hear from you what you think about this.
Okay, well.
That final scene right there, that's from Leave the World Behind. That was the Obama.
That was all right.
Yeah, from Leave the World Behind, the opening scene where the cargo ship goes directly up at people onto the beach. Wow. And then we had this cargo ship take out a main vein. Wow. It's almost like they're telegraphing exactly what they're going to be doing. Then that movie Civil War coming out. Wow. That's super.
Yeah, speaking of super, Superman 3 and all of the parallels there with the controlling the satellites and redirecting all of the ships, all the oil tankers, weather satellites. There's a lot of weird stuff in there too.
Well, Blake, we're talking about diesel fuel and stuff. We're going to jump into our lightning round now. Let's stay talking about transportation and vehicles. You agree or disagree that automakers are making cars that are too easy to steal? Oh my gosh, your boy from Minnesota. What? Oh, Keith Ellison. Oh, he's one of the worst.
I know. I can't believe he keeps getting elected. He is absolutely garbage. But yeah, he's there, and he is responsible for amplifying the whole George Floyd issue that caused nationwide riots. And of course, led to defunding of police and the demon police all over the country. Really a bad individual. And yes, and there's problems with with the rise in crime, which could be pointed at him, but instead, when there's people all these stealing the cars, apparently now it's the car makers. They're making it too easy for young people to steal. So that's the real problem here, I guess, at least in his mind. So this is due to a recent appearance, far left, extreme leftist radical Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said that he's now invested 2 major automakers. So rather than looking at with a flaming narcissist sociopath, can never anything be his fault. So with the rise of crime, it's the automakers. So it's the car. People wouldn't be stealing cars if they were just more difficult to steal, I guess. There was an issue with
it. It is such an awful argument. Blake, this is the equivalent of saying, well, if she wouldn't have dressed seductively, she wouldn't have been assaulted. It's her own fault. It's like I hate people that make arguments like this that blame victims. I hate it. It is the laziest political stunt you can pull.
Oh yeah, I mean I don't know how bad it is in Minnesota, but I mean I know like in Kenya it's just dreadful. People are just breaking into cars all over the place. So I don't know. People are like leaving their doors open. I mean, or just leaving notes on there. Just don't break the windows. I don't care. But yes, this is of the crazed leftists. So let's roll this quick clip from Keith himself.
We've also got to go upstream. We've got to make sure that the automobiles are not so easy to steal so that they're a tempting, attractive nuisance for young people. And, right now we are investigating 2 major automakers because their cars are dramatically too easy to steal for young people.
Can't believe what I'm hearing. So rather than creating this better world, a safer environment and good jobs, economy, where people wouldn't need to steal cars, they could go buy their own car. Instead, they got a rise in theft, and the solution is, as insane as this is now to investigate the automakers. Like it's their problem. Like they're making it too easy to steal. How easy it is to break into these, but this is just beyond absurd. And
I'll tell you who was telegraphing it. And look, I'm not completely against if you identify that something that's an ongoing problem. Nobody wants to have their catalytic converter welded off of their vehicle with a Sawzall, and it's got palladium and uridium and platinum and gold, whatever the hell it has inside of it. That's why they're taking it. But Toyota has been one of the brands that has been pointed at perhaps most often in this. If I can remind you from this ad back, I can't turn the volume up. I don't even know if I can. It's got cookies. Okay. But yeah, do you remember this jingle? This is a Toyota commercial. I know it like the back of my hand. I wish I could find one that they were singing it. But
Southern California Toyota dealers, make it easy.
We make it easy on you.
Your Southern California Toyota dealers, make it easy.
Or make it easy for you. So Toyota makes it easy for you to steal the catalytic converters. They make it easy. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous to blame the victim. But I think at this point, let's see if we can do some sort of redesign. Well, let's see if we can ring. There's no reason catalytic can be this damned expensive. I'm actually facing where I might need to replace mine, and it's very annoying with the engine alerts. Like my car's fine except for the damn catalytic. And it's like, what's it there for? For a percentage of fuel efficiency? Like, stop. Like, anyway, it's ridiculous. So speaking of ridiculous, Blake, what about Mexico's demands? Do you agree that we should succumb, that we should accept their demands to stop the invasion of our country? Agree or disagree? We should listen to Mexico's demands. Or is Mexico trying to make it easy on us? They make it easy on you.
Right. I would disagree. And I would like to bring Trump back and have him be our negotiator on this. And he can present his argument. with the Mexican president. They can sit down with Trump and see if Trump wants to pay for these demands. He has to pay, because he's not demanding that the U.S. pay up or the flow of migrants will continue. So this is interview was it on 60 Minutes, I think. It's confirmed it appears to be blackmailing the United States into paying billions of dollars to try to get them to cut off the millions of illegal aliens coming from Mexico into the United States. So, and he said that if the U.S. fails to meet his demands, the flow of migrants will continue. He has demanded in recent weeks should give $20 billion a year to Latin American nations, lift sanctions on Venezuela, end the Cuban embargo, and give legal status in America to all the millions of Mexicans who are already have entered illegally. So Fox reported that the original demands have been described by critics as blackmail, came in January. Mexico's repeatedly taken some state-level actions to curb mass migration. President Biden's request making crossings drop. However, the number of migrants began to rise in February, and we're going to get more surges in the spring. So, anyway, they're calling it diplomatic blackmail, and I 100% agree, and that should be stopping. Not that Biden's going to care. They seem to welcome the invasion, but it's amazing how audacious the Mexican president call for that.
Yeah, well, but look, anybody worth their salt would rob us blind. I would do the same if I were in a different place. I would rob the United States blind right now. We're like a vessel without a true captain. I mean, we're totally out to lunch. The people in charge don't like this country. They clearly are engineering the destruction of this country. You don't let 10 million people, 15 million flood into your country without weeding out the poison. You just don't do that. Like, this is a clearly intentionally designed takedown of the United States. If I were any world leader, I would sign everything possible. I would stick it to this regime who stuck it to so many regimes across the world over the years. Of course, request everything you could imagine, because the Marxists in power, you know, if they can spread the wealth and lower our level of living a little bit, that's a win in their book. It's the Cloward and Piven strategy, Blake. So, yeah, Mexico. Right. I'm adding that to the list of places I'm not going to spend money on and I'm not going to go visit. So that will change things, because I may have been planning a visit over there, but not anymore. Same with New York, same with California. Okay, so Mexico can piss off. Any final thoughts on that one?
Nope. Let's roll. Lightning round. Boom.
Speaking of Biden, do you agree or disagree that there's a grave concern about Biden losing the election?
Yes, I would agree with that. And internally, they also believe that. So this is also, there's another one with Obama here. Apparently, Obama is making strategy calling the grave concern that Biden will lose the presidential election. And so the New York Times reports Obama's making to the White House chief of staff and to top aides at the Biden campaign to strategize and relay advice. Times strategy calls demonstrate Obama's backing of Biden, but the paper of record also shows significant worry and a grave concern about the 2024 election outcome. So, yes, the internal polls are pretty devastating, and it's also with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. also taking votes away as an independent. Yes, and as there's problems with Biden, as the people seem to be turning on him and his policies. Here's a fun little note: Simon & Schuster dropping the Biden book after a lack of market interest.
For 81 million people, the most popular president in American history, nobody wants to buy his book? Oh, my.
Right. So isn't that interesting? I guess he's not as popular as they like you to believe. And in fact, the First Lady's cat story will be published, but not Biden and his memoirs. People are done with him, perhaps. Also do want to show a quick note from your favorite press secretary. Showing how
before you play this one, let me just ask, because you referenced RFK, what did you make of his vice presidential selection?
I don't really have much of an opinion there.
Yeah, allegedly, it's probably the most disappointing aspect of his entire campaign. Pretty much universally, just astonished that he would pick this lady with her ties, her radical ties to funding George Gascon and the Soros DAs, and she was someone said that she had an affair with Elon Musk, and she was married to the founder of Google. Like, I'm kind of new to learning who this lady is, but she doesn't appear to be good news at all. I'm really surprised that he decided to go that direction.
Yeah, there's some issues with RFK. I do like the guy. I wish he would have stayed running as a Democrat, just kind of for the internal fight within. I don't know. Maybe that's what they thought would be good, at least with the taking votes away from Biden.
And
maybe
he will. He's going to take 30% of Biden's votes away. Biden's going to get absolutely lambasted because there are a lot of people that can still never hold their nose and vote Trump, but they're not going to vote Biden. And RFK is a good landing spot for all those votes. Nobody is leaving the Trump train that's already. If anyone has stayed with Trump this long, there is no way they're bailing for RFK now. Absolutely not. So I don't think he poses any threat, a 0% threat to Trump. He's gonna take tons of Biden votes away.
Yeah, that's important, but it's also interesting. Yes, they're really having trouble, covering for Biden. And here's a local radio station had quite a controversy here, interviewing Karine Jean-Pierre's dramatic hang up mid-interview. Little meltdown here when he asked an uncomfortable question.
And by the way, isn't the press secretary supposed to answer tough questions? That's the point of doing that job.
What would you do? So, I mean, if you were the press secretary, not that I would ever want that job, but I mean, you're going to ask the impossible questions, which are fine, but there's just no way to spin it. So they know what's going on. There is a grave concern internally, and here's why.
When I told a number of people that I was talking to you today, it was interesting, though, they all...
And this is a legitimate question from a radio host who is just asking regular people in his... So Biden's visiting North Carolina, and there's legit questions that people want to know about. Whether they're going to want to vote again for Biden's reelection, and they deserve to have answers.
All said, would you please just ask her, does the president have dementia? So before I move on from that, does he?
Mark, I can't even believe you're asking me this question. That is an incredibly offensive question to ask.
But no, it's not an offensive question.
No, it's not.
You know, people ask it.
Wait, no. You're taking us down this.
So she's just going to stutter and delay and steer the conversation, but she's not going to answer anything about mental health whatsoever. But we know the answer, and it did not help her cause. And then she kind of just droned on for a minute and then hung up the call. So pretty dramatic, but it was interesting. And yes, more people have to start asking. These are just regular questions. These are normal things.
Can you scroll to the end of it? Because she does wrap it up rather abruptly.
Rabbit hole. Let me be very clear about this.
Let me be clear.
For the past several years, the president's physician has laid out in a comprehensive way the president's health. This is a president, if you watch him every day, if you really pay attention to his record and what he has done, you will see exactly how focused he's been on the American people, how historic his actions has been. And so I'm not even going to truly really, take the premise of your question. I think it is incredibly insulting, and so we can move on to the next question.
Gas prices and grocery prices, then big topics here in North Carolina. How does Mr. Biden win votes when people don't have as much disposable income?
Look, the president understands. He grew up in a middle-class family, working-class family in Scranton, Pennsylvania. He gets it. He understands how difficult it is for Americans who are sitting around their kitchen table every month trying to figure out what they're going to pay for. You have to remember when the president walked into this administration, there were multiple crises happening. There was COVID. There was the economy was in the tailspin because of the last administration, because of what the President Trump left us with. Now you're asking me about gas prices. The president took action on gas prices. Let's not forget Russia's invasion on Ukraine skyrocketed prices of gas. And because the president took action, we are in a different place than we were a year ago on gas prices. Eggs, milk, seafood products, all the important groceries, those costs have gone down because of what this president has been able to do. And with that,
what the fuck is she talking about?
Thank you so much, Mark. Have an amazing, amazing day.
Wow. Wow. And she hung up. Wow.
And with that, have an amazing, amazing day. Yeah, by the way, your seafood and your shellfish is down. What poor person is eating seafood? I don't think I ate seafood until I was like 23 years old. Not really, but I mean, like that was not on a seafood never even sniffs your plate when you're poor. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, she just hangs up. She can't handle tough questions. She's so out of her depth in that one. Hilarious. There should be grave concern about Biden losing the election. Ronna McDaniel, Blake, has she ruined her credibility or the credibility of NBC?
Well, I'm no fan of Ronna McDaniel. She's awful. I'm glad she's out as the chair of the RNC. But I was surprised. I thought they might embrace her a little bit because she's kind of it seems more like a deep state asset in the Uniparty. And she was going to go to NBC, MSNBC, be a paid contributor. But then the leftists started having a meltdown, a panic attack, meltdown. There was dissent from within. The move comes, so they already dropped the chair as a paid contributor following an on-air revolt from the quote execs are deliberating over details. Now she's seeking a legal representation, so I hope she gets at least paid something for it. Not that I like her, that she deserves it. Yeah, they screwed her over here, and it's embarrassing for these networks. They're saying it's from Chuck Todd. Raising concerns about her potential impact on the network's credibility. Well, they have no fucking credibility.
They have no credibility, Blake.
And that makes it even worse. What are they so afraid of? If she's such a liar or whatever, that gives them a chance to put her under the hot seat. I mean, Fox has embraced Donna Brazile. They always have some hack on the 5 or whatever. It's that Jessica Tarlov or whatever. But you're supposed to have different perspectives on it. But these people are so outraged and they so want to be in their own bubble and they don't want to have any alternative opinions that they're freaking out about having somebody like that. I don't know, Brian. I would embrace having Rachel Maddow be the third person on this show. I would love to, even though I know she's full of shit, I get to directly call her out for being full of shit, and we can have that back and forth. And that's what makes it interesting.
We can, but they can't. They don't have anything to swing back with, which is why they try to censor and silence people that oppose. If they're the only ones speaking, they think that they win. That's their only strategy. They can't play tennis. They don't have a racket. They're swinging with a bare hand. They don't have any tools because they have all of the worst arguments. They don't make sense. They don't win conversations. They don't win debates because they can't. So, I mean, I get why they don't want anyone with common sense around, but it's not like this Ronna McDaniel fits that category. She anyway, good riddance to her. Okay, any final thoughts there before we ask last question about Hamas?
Yeah, real quick, because we got an hour, we got a 90-minute deadline. We're at 98. Let's wrap this up real quick. And I got to run. Okay,
agree or disagree that America is to blame for the failed destruction of Hamas?
Well, I am going to disagree there. So, yes, Israel admitting it be able to destroy Hamas and is blaming America. So, this is the thanks that we get for sending them billions of taxpayer dollars and endless weapons for several decades. And that's this is from the Telegraph. Israel admitting it may not be able to destroy Hamas now that U.S. has apparently turned its back. And they face failure because of they don't have the international support. So it's apparently we don't want to get involved in what the rest of the world is viewing as a genocide. And how many deaths are there now? I think it was well over 30,000, and there's going to be many more. Many people are sting, and it's just atrocious. It's a catastrophe there in Gaza. And so they've realized they're not going to be able to just completely get rid of Hamas. And a lot of these people that they're wiping out are not military targets. It's just civilians that are being carpet bombed. And so, yes, America's not going to get too much more of the outrage by the international community. So I would say get rid of the Netanyahu admission and try to find some way to rectify the damage. But I don't know if that's going to be done.
And I do believe that is what the Biden administration is trying to do, to overthrow Netanyahu. It seems as though that is the plan. They have definitely broken away, but the Democrats have not really been a fan of Israel or Netanyahu for a long time, back to Barack Obama and further. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. I mean, Hamas and ISIS, who's funding these people? Why can't they, Trump gets rid of them. So if Trump gets rid of them, why can't anybody else? It's almost like you want them around.
We got rid of ISIS. There was a different way of handling this situation, and I think they really overplayed their hand there with Bibi Netanyahu. Bit heavy-handed in their support of this, in this war and their military operations over there.
All right. So, well, Blake, thank you very much for joining us today. Tell people where to find you on your way out, please.
TV's Blake Walley on Twitter. And, of course, the archive is always on the nextlevelnews.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was a very newsy day. It seemed like Tuesday everything was breaking and things have kind of settled a little bit, but still there's a million things to talk about. Thanks for everything today on the show. Great job. Appreciate you. Thank you, Blake.
Wrapping it up.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
To be continued. We'll do this again. And to everybody else out there, as we release Blake to the rest of his day, I just want to tell you there are a couple places I am asking you to follow the New American Media, because we have been censored and shadow banned and demonetized like crazy. So here are the places to find us. The newamericanmedia.com is going to be getting a revamp real soon, because too much content is disappearing off YouTube. We need to kind of host these internally. The newamericanmedia.com is a great place for that. Of course, youtube.com/The New American Media. Click subscribe and the notification bell. Check out 13 years of content, 1,400 videos. Those are duplicated on odyssey.com. Search The New American Media. All of the YouTube has been switched over to that. Also, I want you to follow us on X. Blake is at TV's Blake Walley, but we are at American_media_. Instagram is The New American Media page. Facebook is the page, The New American Media, and the group, TNAM's The Agree to Disagree Show. Of course, Telegram is our backup for Facebook. It's TNAM and TNAM Chat. Rumble is The New American Media. Spotify, our podcast, The Agree to Disagree Show. And, of course, on Truth Social, thenewamericanmedia.com. So we're going to sign off for today. But follow us in all those places, because like Blake says, you love Instagram. I do like Instagram for certain things at certain times of the day, and it helps with the research. So if you're following us in different places, I promise you're not going to see duplicates of all of the same content. Different stories are gathered from different places and sent out different ways. So please link up with the New American Media and Blake in all of the social media places you can. So when we're deleted from one or silenced in one place, we'll still be loud on another. So I'm going to sign out for now. I hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend, and we will plan on being back on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Signing out for the New American Media. I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care.